The grand ballroom of the royal palace sparkled under crystal chandeliers, as hundreds of guests mingled in their finest evening wear. Prince Alexander moved gracefully through the crowd, his smile never wavering as he greeted diplomats, ministers, and nobility from across the kingdom. Tonight's charity gala was one of the most important events of the year, raising funds for children's hospitals throughout the realm. Captain Marcus Kane stood near the marble pillars, his trained eyes constantly scanning the room. As head of the prince's personal security detail, Marcus had protected the royal family for over 15 years. His team of 12 elite guards were positioned strategically around the ballroom, each one alert and ready for any threat. The evening had been peaceful so far. Guests enjoyed champagne and delicate pastries, while a string quartet played classical melodies from the balcony above. The prince had just finished his opening speech about the importance of healthcare for underprivileged children when Marcus noticed something unusual. A man in a dark suit had been following the prince's movements too closely. While other guests socialized and moved freely around the room, this individual seemed focused solely on Prince Alexander. Marcus watched as the stranger's hand kept moving toward his jacket pocket, then pulling away nervously. The man appeared to be in his 30s with short brown hair and ordinary features that would easily blend into any crowd. He carried himself with the confidence of someone who belonged at such an elegant gathering, but Marcus's instincts told him something was wrong. The stranger's eyes held an intensity that made the veteran security chief uneasy. Prince Alexander continued his rounds, unaware of the potential danger lurking nearby. He stopped to chat with the French ambassador's wife about her recent visit to the children's hospital in the capital. His genuine interest in the charity work made him beloved by both his people and foreign dignitaries. Marcus discreetly moved closer to his target while maintaining his professional demeanor. He had learned long ago to trust his gut feelings about suspicious individuals. The man's behavior was setting off every alarm bell in his experienced mind. The stranger suddenly reached into his jacket pocket and began walking directly toward Prince Alexander. Marcus felt his heart rate increase as he prepared to spring into action. The crowded ballroom made any sudden movement dangerous, but protecting the prince was his primary responsibility. As the distance between the suspicious man and Prince Alexander decreased, Marcus caught the prince's eye across the room. In that brief moment, years of working together created an unspoken understanding between the two men. Prince Alexander had complete faith in his security team's judgment. If Marcus believed there was a threat, then immediate action was necessary. The prince's training in such situations kicked in automatically, even though he appeared to continue his conversation normally. What happened next would test every protocol the security team had practiced countless times. The safety of the kingdom's beloved heir hung in the balance as Marcus prepared to make a split-second decision that could change everything. Prince Alexander's fingers found the crystal wine glass on the nearby table, lifting it with practiced elegance as if making a casual toast. To anyone watching, it appeared to be a simple gesture of celebration. However, the specific way he held the glass, tilting it slightly to the left while touching the rim with his index finger, sent a clear message to Captain Marcus Kane. This was Signal 7, a covert communication system developed over years of working together. The prince had spotted the same suspicious individual that Marcus was tracking, and confirmed the man's threatening behavior. Without breaking his conversation with the ambassador's wife, Prince Alexander had effectively told his security chief that immediate intervention was required. Marcus felt a surge of adrenaline as he processed the signal. The prince never used their emergency codes unless he was absolutely certain of danger. Moving with the fluid grace of a seasoned professional, Marcus began positioning himself for the best possible approach to neutralize the threat. The suspicious man was now only 20 feet away from Prince Alexander, his hand firmly gripping something inside his jacket pocket. His face showed signs of nervous perspiration, despite the comfortable temperature in the ballroom. Marcus could see the man's lips moving slightly, as if rehearsing words or steeling himself for action. Other guests continued their conversations, completely unaware of the drama unfolding around them. The string quartet played a beautiful waltz while couples danced gracefully on the polished marble floor. Waiters moved between groups offering champagne and hors d'oeuvres, their silver trays reflecting the warm glow of the chandeliers. Marcus activated his earpiece with a subtle touch, connecting him to his team positioned throughout the ballroom. Agent Sarah Chen stood near the main entrance, while Agent Rodriguez monitored the balcony level. Agent Thompson guarded the side exits, and Agent Williams watched the kitchen area where catering staff moved in and out. The coded message Marcus transmitted was brief, but clear. All team members were to maintain their positions while staying alert for his next command. They had trained for situations exactly like this one, practicing countless scenarios where threats could emerge in crowded public spaces. Prince Alexander smoothly excused himself from his conversation and began moving toward a group of visiting ministers near the center of the room. His path would take him away from the suspicious man while providing Marcus with a better angle for intervention. The prince's composure remained perfect, showing no signs of the tension building around him. The stranger hesitated for a moment, then adjusted his course to follow Prince Alexander toward the new group. This confirmed Marcus's worst fears about the man's intentions. Whatever was hidden in that jacket pocket was meant for the prince, and time was running out to prevent a potential catastrophe. Marcus quickened his pace while maintaining his professional appearance. Years of experience had taught him to blend into any environment while staying ready for instant action. The formal evening wear he wore concealed the protective equipment and defensive tools that were standard for his position. As the distance between all three men decreased, Marcus prepared to make his move. The safety of Prince Alexander and every innocent guest in the ballroom now depended on his next decisions. The stranger's hand began withdrawing something from his jacket, and Marcus knew there were only seconds left to act. Marcus moved with lightning speed as the suspicious man's hand emerged from his jacket pocket. In one fluid motion, the experienced security chief closed the remaining distance and grabbed the stranger's wrist, preventing him from completing whatever action he had planned. The man's eyes widened in shock as he found himself suddenly restrained by the powerful grip of the royal guard. The object in the stranger's hand turned out to be a small device that Marcus didn't immediately recognize. It appeared to be some kind of recording equipment rather than a weapon, but his training dictated that any unauthorized device near the prince was a potential threat. The stranger struggled briefly against Marcus's hold before realizing the futility of resistance. Prince Alexander continued his conversation with the visiting ministers as if nothing unusual was happening just a few feet away. His ability to maintain composure in dangerous situations was one of the qualities that made him an exceptional future leader. However, his heightened awareness allowed him to monitor the situation without appearing to do so. Other guests in the immediate area began to notice the commotion as Marcus firmly but quietly escorted the stranger away from the prince. The security chief's professional demeanor kept the situation from escalating into panic, but curious murmurs began spreading through nearby groups of attendees. Agent Chen appeared beside Marcus within seconds, having moved swiftly from her position near the main entrance. Her presence provided additional security while allowing Marcus to focus entirely on the detained individual. The coordination between team members was seamless, a result of countless hours of training together. The stranger finally spoke, his voice trembling with nervousness and indignation. He claimed to be a journalist from a respected newspaper, assigned to cover the charity gala for tomorrow's edition. The recording device, he insisted, was simply a digital recorder for conducting interviews with notable guests and dignitaries. Marcus remained skeptical despite the man's explanation. Professional journalists covering royal events were required to register with the Palace Communications Office days in advance. Their credentials were thoroughly verified, and they received special identification badges that granted them specific access privileges within the venue. This man carried no such credentials, and his behavior throughout the evening had been far from professional. Legitimate journalists didn't stalk their subjects or approach them in the secretive manner Marcus had observed. Something about the stranger's story didn't align with the facts of the situation. Agent Williams arrived from his position near the kitchen area, creating a discreet barrier around the detained individual. The team's ability to respond quickly and efficiently demonstrated the high level of their training and preparation. Every movement was calculated to maintain security without disrupting the evening's important charitable purpose. The recording device was carefully examined by Agent Rodriguez, who had advanced training in identifying potentially dangerous electronics. While it appeared to be a standard digital recorder, protocol required that all unauthorized devices be thoroughly analyzed before any conclusions could be reached about their true purpose. Prince Alexander subtly signaled his security team that he was prepared to continue with the evening schedule if the situation was under control. His trust in Marcus's judgment was absolute, and he knew that appropriate measures were being taken to ensure everyone's safety. The detained stranger became increasingly agitated as he realized the seriousness of his situation. His claims of being a journalist grew more insistent, but his inability to provide proper documentation or explain his suspicious behavior only strengthened the security team's concerns about his true intentions. Marcus escorted the detained man to a private security office adjacent to the ballroom, while Agent Chen remained to monitor the continuing festivities. The office was equipped with communication systems that allowed direct contact with palace intelligence services and local law enforcement agencies. Every detail of the incident would need to be documented and investigated thoroughly. The stranger identified himself as David Harrison, claiming to work for the Metropolitan Daily Herald newspaper. He provided a driver's license and press card as identification, but Marcus noticed immediately that the press credentials appeared to be outdated and lacked the security features of current media identification standards. Harrison's explanation became more elaborate as he sensed the gravity of his situation. He claimed his editor had assigned him to cover the charity gala at the last minute, replacing another journalist who had fallen ill. The rushed nature of the assignment, he insisted, explained why he hadn't gone through proper credential verification procedures. Agent Rodriguez completed his preliminary examination of the recording device and discovered several concerning details. While the exterior appeared to be a standard digital recorder, internal modifications suggested capabilities beyond simple audio recording. The device contained components that could potentially transmit signals or access wireless networks. Marcus contacted the Metropolitan Daily Herald's night desk to verify Harrison's employment status. The conversation with the newspaper's senior editor revealed that no staff member named David Harrison worked for their organization. Furthermore, they had not assigned anyone to cover the Royal Charity Gala, as they had received proper press credentials for their regular royal correspondent weeks earlier. This revelation transformed the situation from a possible security misunderstanding into a confirmed threat against Prince Alexander. Harrison's false identity and modified recording equipment indicated a deliberate attempt to gain unauthorized access to the prince for unknown purposes. The implications were deeply troubling for everyone involved in royal security. Harrison's demeanor shifted dramatically when confronted with the newspaper's denial of his employment. His nervous energy transformed into desperate anger as he realized his deception had been exposed. He began making demands to speak with lawyers and claiming his rights were being violated by the security team. Marcus activated emergency protocols that brought additional palace security personnel to the scene. The local police department was notified of the potential security breach, and intelligence services were alerted to begin investigating Harrison's background and possible connections to threatening organizations. Prince Alexander was discreetly informed of the confirmed threat, though he chose to continue participating in the charity gala to avoid causing alarm among the guests. His dedication to the evening's humanitarian purpose demonstrated the strength of character that made him beloved by his people. The investigation into Harrison's identity revealed no criminal record under that name, suggesting the use of sophisticated false documentation. His fingerprints were run through national security databases while experts analyzed the modified recording device for clues about its intended purpose and origin. Agent Chen coordinated with venue security to review surveillance footage from throughout the evening. The recordings would provide valuable evidence about Harrison's movements and behavior, potentially revealing whether he had accomplices or had attempted to plant additional devices in the building. The charity gala continued successfully, with guests remaining unaware of the serious security incident that had been prevented by the vigilance of the Royal Protection Team. The evening raised over $2 million for children's hospitals, fulfilling its important charitable mission despite the hidden dangers that had threatened to disrupt it. Harrison sat silently in the security office as the investigation expanded around him. Whatever his true intentions had been, His carefully planned operation had been thwarted by the professional excellence of Prince Alexander's security detail and the effective communication systems they had developed over years of working together. The palace intelligence services arrived within 30 minutes of Marcus's alert, bringing specialized equipment for interrogating suspects and analyzing potential surveillance devices. Director Elizabeth Hartwell personally oversaw the investigation, recognizing the serious implications of an infiltrator targeting Prince Alexander at a public event. Harrison's modified recording device was connected to advanced analysis systems that revealed its true capabilities. The device had been designed to capture not only audio recordings, but also to transmit data in real time to an external receiver. Most concerning was its ability to jam nearby security communications, potentially disrupting the protection team's coordination during a critical incident. Under intensive questioning, Harrison finally admitted that his real name was Michael Torres, a former military communications specialist who had been dishonorably discharged 3 years earlier for selling classified information. His expertise in electronic surveillance explained the sophisticated modifications to the recording equipment he had carried into the gala. Torres revealed that he had been hired by an unknown client to gather intelligence about Prince Alexander's security procedures and personal habits. The job had been arranged through encrypted messaging systems, with payment delivered through untraceable cryptocurrency transactions. He claimed to have no knowledge of his employer's identity or ultimate intentions. The investigation team analyzed Torres's electronic communications and financial records, searching for clues about who had commissioned his infiltration mission. His bank accounts showed deposits totaling $50,000 over the past 2 months, far exceeding what he could have earned through legitimate employment during that period. Director Hartwell recognized the sophisticated nature of the operation, suggesting involvement by either organized criminal groups or foreign intelligence services. The level of planning required to create false credentials, modify surveillance equipment, and coordinate the infiltration indicated resources beyond what individual criminals typically possessed. Prince Alexander was briefed on the full scope of the threat during a secure meeting in his private chambers. The discovery that his security procedures were being actively studied by unknown adversaries prompted immediate reviews of all protection protocols and venue security arrangements for future public appearances. Marcus felt a deep sense of professional satisfaction, knowing that his years of experience and intuitive threat assessment had prevented what could have been a catastrophic security breach. The covert signaling system he had developed with Prince Alexander had proven its worth. Under genuine emergency conditions, the charity gala concluded successfully with Prince Alexander delivering a heartfelt closing speech about the importance of protecting society's most vulnerable members. His words carried additional meaning for those who knew how the evening's hidden drama had unfolded. Though the guests remained unaware of the danger that had been present, Torres was transferred to a secure detention facility while intelligence services expanded their investigation into his background and potential co-conspirators. His military service records were examined for connections to individuals or organizations that might harbor hostile intentions toward the royal family. The modified surveillance device was sent to the National Forensics Laboratory for detailed analysis of its components and programming. Experts hoped to trace the origins of its specialized modifications, potentially leading to identification of the technical specialist who had prepared it for Torres's mission. Security at all royal residences and public venues was immediately enhanced following the incident. Additional background checks were implemented for catering staff, maintenance workers, and other service personnel who might have access to areas where the royal family would be present. Agent Chen compiled a comprehensive report documenting every aspect of the evening's events, from the initial observation of suspicious behavior through the successful detention and interrogation of the infiltrator. This report would become part of the training materials used to prepare future royal protection officers. The investigation into Torres's employer would continue for months, eventually revealing connections to a sophisticated espionage network with interests in destabilizing several European monarchies. The prevention of his mission at the charity gala had disrupted a much larger operation targeting royal families across the continent. 3 days after the charity gala, Intelligence services made a breakthrough in tracing the sophisticated surveillance equipment found in Torres's possession. The specialized components had been manufactured by a small electronics firm in Eastern Europe that catered exclusively to intelligence agencies and private security contractors with questionable reputations. Director Hartwell's team discovered that the electronics company had been purchased 6 months earlier by a shell corporation registered in multiple offshore jurisdictions. The complex ownership structure was designed to hide the true identity of whoever was funding operations against European royal families. But forensic accountants began unraveling the financial connections. Torres remained in custody at a secure facility, where continued interrogation revealed additional details about his recruitment and training. He had been approached through online forums where former military personnel sought freelance security work. The initial contact had seemed like legitimate consulting work for a private security firm. The recruitment process had been gradual and carefully orchestrated to avoid raising suspicions. Torres was first hired for simple background research tasks, then gradually given more sensitive assignments as his handlers evaluated his reliability and technical skills. By the time he realized the true nature of his work, he was financially dependent on the payments and too deeply involved to withdraw safely. Prince Alexander increased his personal involvement in the security investigation, recognizing that the threat extended beyond his own safety to the stability of monarchies throughout Europe. His contacts with other royal protection services revealed similar infiltration. Attempts had been thwarted in 3 neighboring countries over the past year. The pattern of activities suggested a coordinated campaign to gather intelligence about royal security procedures, possibly in preparation for more serious attacks or kidnapping attempts. The sophistication of the operation indicated state-level resources and planning, though identifying the specific country or organization responsible remained challenging. Marcus expanded his security team's training to include advanced recognition of electronic surveillance equipment and improved procedures for detecting individuals with military or intelligence backgrounds. The close call at the charity gala had demonstrated the need for enhanced vigilance against increasingly sophisticated threats. Intelligence analysts discovered that Torres had visited several other European capitals in recent months, always using different false identities and traveling on expertly forged documents. His movements corresponded with major royal events in each location, suggesting he had been conducting surveillance missions across multiple targets. The investigation revealed a network of at least 12 other individuals with similar backgrounds who had been recruited through the same online channels as Torres. Most were former military personnel with financial difficulties, making them vulnerable to recruitment by organizations offering substantial compensation for questionable activities. International cooperation between intelligence services intensified as the scope of the threat became clear. The network appeared to be gathering detailed information about security procedures, personal habits, and vulnerability assessments for multiple royal families, suggesting preparation for coordinated attacks or political destabilization. Efforts Prince Alexander's commitment to maintaining his public schedule despite the threats demonstrated his understanding of the importance of royal visibility in maintaining public confidence. However, all future appearances would require enhanced security measures and more thorough background checks for anyone granted access to venues where he would be present. The charity that benefited from the gala remained unaware of the security drama that had unfolded during their fundraising event. The $2 million raised continued to support children's hospitals throughout the kingdom, fulfilling the humanitarian purpose that had motivated Prince Alexander's participation despite the personal risks involved. Torres eventually agreed to cooperate with investigators in exchange for reduced charges and protection from potential retaliation by his former employers. His detailed knowledge of the recruitment network and operational procedures provided crucial intelligence for dismantling the broader conspiracy against European royal families. The modified surveillance device yielded additional secrets under laboratory analysis, including hidden memory storage containing detailed security assessments of several royal residences. This information confirmed that the infiltration network had been operating successfully for much longer than initially suspected. gathering intelligence across multiple countries over an extended period. 6 months after the Charity Gala incident, the international investigation reached its dramatic conclusion with coordinated arrests across 7 European countries. The mastermind behind the royal surveillance network was revealed to be Viktor Petrov, a former intelligence officer who had built a private espionage organization specializing in destabilizing democratic governments and constitutional monarchies. Petrov's operation had been funded by a combination of hostile foreign governments and wealthy individuals seeking to profit from political chaos in stable European nations. His network had successfully infiltrated royal security details, government offices, and diplomatic missions throughout the continent, gathering intelligence that could have been used for assassination attempts, kidnappings, or blackmail operations. Torres's cooperation with investigators had been instrumental in identifying other network members and tracing the financial connections that led to Petrov's arrest in Switzerland. The former communications specialist received a reduced sentence and entered witness protection, though he would serve several years in prison for his role in the conspiracy. Prince Alexander was personally briefed on the investigation's conclusion and the broader implications of what had been prevented. The Charity Gala incident had been just one small part of a massive intelligence operation that threatened the stability of European democracy. His quick thinking and the professionalism of his security team had helped uncover and dismantle a truly dangerous conspiracy. Marcus received commendation from the highest levels of government for his role in detecting and preventing the infiltration attempt. The intuitive threat assessment and decisive action he demonstrated at the Charity Gala became a case study taught in security training programs throughout Europe. His years of experience and dedication to protecting Prince Alexander had proven invaluable in a moment of genuine crisis. The covert signaling system that Prince Alexander and Marcus had developed over years of working together was formally adopted as standard protocol for royal protection services across multiple countries. The simple but effective communication method had demonstrated its worth under real-world emergency conditions, potentially saving lives and preventing international incidents. Enhanced security procedures implemented after the Charity Gala incident became permanent features of royal protection protocols. Background checks for service personnel were strengthened, electronic surveillance detection capabilities were expanded, and coordination between international security services was formalized to prevent similar infiltration networks from operating successfully. The charity that benefited from the gala's fundraising efforts dedicated a wing of the new children's hospital to Prince Alexander, recognizing his commitment to their cause despite the personal dangers he had faced. The prince attended the dedication ceremony with enhanced but discreet security, demonstrating that the threats would not prevent him from serving his people and supporting important humanitarian causes. Director Heartfelt received promotion to head the newly created International Royal Protection Coordination Office, tasked with sharing intelligence and best practices among European security services. The lessons learned from investigating Petrov's network would help protect royal families and democratic institutions from similar threats in the future. Agent Chen, Rodriguez, Williams, and Thompson all received recognition for their professional response during the Charity Gala crisis. Their seamless coordination and quick thinking had prevented what could have been a catastrophic security breach with international implications. The team's performance under pressure validated years of training and preparation. The broader investigation revealed that Petrov's network had been planning coordinated attacks against multiple royal families during a upcoming international summit. The intelligence gathered through infiltration operations like Torres's mission would have been used to overcome security measures and create maximum chaos. During the high-profile gathering of European leaders, Prince Alexander's decision to continue his public schedule despite ongoing security concerns inspired confidence throughout the kingdom and demonstrated the resilience of democratic institutions against threats from hostile forces. His courage and commitment to duty became an example for leaders facing similar challenges around the world. The Charity Gala, where everything began, continued as an annual tradition, raising millions of dollars for children's hospitals, while serving as a reminder of the vigilance required to protect freedom and democracy. The elegant ballroom where Marcus first spotted Torres became a symbol of how professional dedication and quick thinking could prevent disasters, and preserve the values that make civilized society possible. The investigation's success demonstrated that international cooperation and professional excellence in security services remained humanity's best defense against those who would use violence and deception to destroy the institutions that protect freedom, justice, and human dignity throughout the world.